We are getting closer towards the end, and as I am fairly certain Book 11 is quite surprising for many reasons, and it shows the development of characters that we may not have guessed from the beginning. We have Grushenka at the beginning, or at the beginning of the book, I mean, and you have right on the first page, page 705, it says her formerly challenging gaze was now aglow with something akin to serenity. Who? Grushenka. And yet, a vicious flame would occasionally flare up in those eyes of hers whenever she remembered the former preoccupation. The former preoccupation being another human being, and that is Katya, or Katerina Ivanovna, the one who was Mitya's fiance, and Grushenka is obviously a little bit jealous of her, especially now that she acknowledges fully in her own soul the love that she has for Mitya. Then we also have the very intricate development of Ivan or Ivan, who has the three encounters with Smerdyakov, each one of them quite interesting, and you may think of the three chapters on media soul before. I'm not saying that they are the same because they are not the same. They are clearly different perspectives in each one of them. But we had three stages in media in the previous books, and now we have three stages with Sperdyakov and Ivan, and then Alyosha's eternal way of being ready for the others and being present in the life of others and trying to work for their good. I am Let me put it this way, for me, and it may be different for you, but for me, the most striking thing that takes place in book 11 is when Alyosha tells Ivan, it was not you, you did not murder, you are not the murderer, not you, not you. So if you go actually on chapter 5 of the book, and Ivan asks Alyosha who murdered the father, and Alyosha says, "You know who," without actually stating exactly who that person was. Ivan says, "Who then? Who?" And Alyosha replies, "All I know is it was not you who killed father." Whew. Why would Alyosha need to say anything like that to Ivan or Ivan? And Alyosha apparently is in a state of is in a trance. Um, he says it, but he also says at the same time that he does so because God commanded him to do so. What happens to Ivan afterwards, and we have the three meetings with Smerdyakov. Well, actually, one of them because the other two seem to have been a little bit earlier. But we have the three meetings with Smerdyakov, and especially that night, and so the night after he speaks with Alyosha, uh, the visit of the devil, or you may say that it was just a dream. Obviously, Dostoevsky does not clarify whether it's indeed the visit of the devil or it is a dream, but it is very very real for Ivan. Um, the presence of the evil one is for Ivan clearly real, even if you may say that it was just a dream. So, in virtue of that, thinking about that, what Alyosha says to Ivan here makes sense. We talked before about responsibility and about the responsibility of a soul for all the other human beings, the responsibility of the soul for the entire humankind, and the responsibility that I have, I as a human being, for the world itself that is given to me as a gift. And that may seem in contradiction with what Alyosha says here, because Alyosha says it was not you. It is not you who is responsible for the death of the father. And we talked in the previous weeks that somehow all the brothers are involved in the murder. You may remember a discussion that took place between Ivan and Smerdyakov long before, I think it was book 5, when Smerdyakov tells Ivan it is always good to talk to an intelligent person. And now Smerdyakov blames Ivan for the death of their fathers, because he claims that Ivan understood at that moment that Smerdyakov was planning the murder, and he did not do anything. And his going away was taken by Smerdyakov as an encouragement to do what he was planning to do, that is to murder Fyodor Karamazov. From that perspective, Ivan is responsible. So now Alyosha tells him it was not you, you're not responsible. We talk about responsibility, as I mentioned before. Why does Alyosha say that? Because Ivan is in the danger of taking this idea of I am responsible for the entire world wrongly. Is in the danger of taking this idea as so mistakenly that he finishes himself as a human being under that responsibility. Um, the responsibility that we discussed before is not a responsibility that comes with accusations. In this one, the responsibility comes with accusations. I am guilty of something. The previous responsibility we discussed before, responsibility for the beautiful, responsibility for the good, does not come with the guiltiness of something, but rather with the call of the beauty that comes towards me when I am given something, I am given love. In this situation, the responsibility is wrong. According to Alyosha, okay, or according to Dostoevsky, I think, responsibility is wrong because it comes with accusations, first of all, and any kind of accusations is something that breaks the world apart, and breaks also my world, and it breaks me. And Ivan is in this danger, and we can see this danger with the dream or the reality that of the encounter he has with the devil that night. And Alyosha reminds him, remember me before you do anything this night. Remember me, because if you remember me, what happens to you is that you are in, forgive me, I was sitting wrongly. If you remember me, you remember the connection you have with another human being, with a real human being who is present for you at every moment, with a human being who is present for you uh, and wants to cure you and wants to fill your emptiness. If you do not remember me, if you remain utterly alone, you lose all hope. And Ivan is almost getting crazy towards the end, and we'll see that. Forgive me for telling you perhaps too much, but we'll see that even more in book 12. Um, and Alyosha knows that sanity and goodness is always maintained in connection with the others, is always maintained in my ability to remain together in the world that's given to me. And this is why he encourages strongly, remember me before you do anything wrong. You discussed beautifully, I would say, on the forum about how what happens in the childhood of a human being is very important in life, and how a kindness, a gesture of kindness can be remembered lately, and being remembered lately may save me from various things that I may do in this life whenever I am losing all hope. And we see even here, Grushenka has the beginning, so she has all the serenity in the eyes, but at the same time, whenever she thinks of someone else whom she may hate, or whom she may be jealous, or whom she may be jealous, she loses that serenity. And Dostoevsky, as we discussed from the beginning, and now I think things become even clearer, really, really believes that the soul of a human being is always on a battle. And from your comments, I think you agree with that. That all of us, during this life, we have various moments that lead us into one direction or another. But Dostoevsky emphasizes what we have to remember is that any kind of event is not the end. Any kind of event that we experience is not the final thing and will not define fully our lives. And what really defines our lives is love. What really defines our lives is gesture of kindness that we have received perhaps when we were young, when we were children, and when we remember those gestures, we may be saved from the dangers in which life throws us. Um, that doesn't mean that bad things, and I'm addressing this actually your comment, because many of you say, well, yeah, but bad people are bad people. What do we do with bad people? Well, what if we say, and sure, yeah, bad people are bad people in a sense, but what if we say that bad actions are bad actions, and that the actions do not define us fully? Because if you suppose you take someone who always is a good human being, and we define that person as a wonderful human being and so on, and then he falls or she falls, like Alyosha was at that very, last week or a couple of weeks ago. I lost the order of weeks with Grushenka when he was always falling, and Grushenka throws him a spring onion. He could have become a bad person, right? So. If we cannot define someone who does good actions as a good human being fully, why would we define someone who does bad actions as a bad human being? Uh, maybe, you know, maybe they were dealt a very difficult life. Maybe they were dealt with situations that we ourselves may not have been able to manage correctly. So. It's always good to throw a spring onion, I'm guessing. It's always good to throw even someone who seems to be rotten a spring onion, because then may spring onion may cure his or her rottenness. Um, anyway, I made again a long video for this week, and I tried to cover as much as I could from book 11. Please read it in detail. Please read it carefully, because it is a book. It's a superb book. Dostoevsky really looks here at the details of a human soul, and how we can understand the large spectrum of feelings that can take place into one human soul, not various human souls. And remember your final papers.